Hi, this is Phil Potempa, and welcome to another edition of Notoriety. Each week we bring you everything you want to make sure you mark on your calendars, what's not to be missed, events and all the adventures happening in Northwest Indiana, Chicagoland, and beyond. And, of course, this is our 9-year anniversary, and it is the weekly equivalent of all of the feature columns and stories that appear in the flagship Post-Tribune underneath that umbrella of Chicago Tribune Media. Of course, all those feature stories and columns, everything is captured at chicagotribune.com. We could not be here without the generous underwriting of the folks that are our sponsors over these many years, including right now for this season, our fantastic friends at People's Bank. Also, arts advocate Andy and Sue Arnold. And over the years, our wonderful history with Legacy Foundation, Indiana Arts Commission, and, of course, also Theater to Center, our home away from home at the Center for Visual and Performing Arts, so that we are allowed to be here, so we can bring you everything that you want to make sure that you know about. We also have the added advantage of some video cameras. Some of you are on the traditional radio airwaves, finding us on the dial at 12:30 a.m. as we come to you from our Strack and Van Til studios right here in Hammond. Others have your window to the world. You may have found us on streaming or on social media, so you have the added advantage of the cameras to show what's happening here, including joined by co-host Tony Panek this week.
How's it going, everybody?
And returning favorites that we have, Tammie Miller. She's a director that is the one that does all the communications, marketing, and development and things. Not development yet, but she kind of does a lot of outreach for Northwest Indiana Symphony. Thank you, Tammie, for being back. Lisa Tyree, she is a member of our Symphony Ladies Wandas, the women's organization that does so much. May wine is about to come up, so you can see if you have the added advantage of cameras. You might hear some clinking even on the radio dial as we have our pretend wine decanters here to toast the occasion of what's coming up. Don't say it's pretend. I don't know, unless Tony did a switcheroo like in one of the old TV shows.
Like Jesus, right?
We are ready to go. Uh-oh, somebody else did that recently, made that comparison and got in trouble with an AI illustration. But we're going to find out what's happening in Symphony programming. Believe it or not, this season is about to wrap up and close with a big finale coming up. And then also our May wine is just a stone's throw away. We want to put a timestamp on this in case it's a rebroadcast. We're coming to you today on Tuesday, April the 28th. 2026, so you can plan accordingly if you are somebody that's hearing something that sounds of interest to you. So welcome back, ladies.
Thank you.
We're going to start first of all with let's do May wine first, and then we'll move into our big headliner event. So May wine, who's going to be my Vanna White that has all the dates and all the number crunching here we can share?
Well, May wine brunch is Wednesday, May 6, 2026. At the Center of the Visual Art, Performing Arts, 1040 Ridge Road, Munster, Indiana. And the times are 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the brunch at noon.
All right, so some shopping time before with the vendors, and, of course, a chance to clink the glasses of what is the first of the May wine, the spring wines that will have a bit of a floating heart-shaped strawberry. That's another tradition. Speaking of tradition, this event is not anything new. How many years?
54 years.
Wow.
Anniversary, yes.
And you do so much good for the symphony with the money that's raised. It can go for programming, it can go for scholarships.
Yes.
You have a very active membership, and you're always looking for other members as well, correct?
Correct. We got 113 members now. And we will be honoring 2 of our legacy women's. One is turning 109, which is Edith Coleman.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and this is her. She's been with the...
Put that right here front and center,
okay.
nice and steady, and we'll see if our camera can get a zoom on Edith here.
109.
Will Edith be at the event or in spirit?
She's still here with us, thank God. We hoping she will be here and stuff.
Okay.
That's one of the goals.
All right, so he's going to hold the camera, and you're going to switch out photos, and we'll get our other.
I'll pull the
All
other
right,
one.
Tam will be our hand model, Tammie Miller. And who's the lady in that hat?
This is 100-year-old Evelyn Lissick.
Oh, Evelyn Lissick. She is a legend.
Yes,
legend.
she is.
She's a spitfire of a little
Yes,
lady.
She sure is. She
always
sure
at
is.
the orchestra, always supporting at the May wine, and 60-plus years
She sure
she's been
is.
with the
And up
women's-
until just a couple of May wines ago, she would drive herself So you'd look for that Model T coming up Ridge Road. That would be Evelyn on her
Well,
way.
the fun fact about Evelyn, I'm not sure about Edith, but Evelyn was at the first Symphony Orchestra concert on December 7th, 1941.
Wow.
So
You're kidding me.
no,
Wow.
she was there.
That's insane.
She was 16, I believe, what
Yeah.
she said. She was 16 years old.
That's
And
impressive.
Still a supporter.
And
Yep.
she is. She's a great. She's truly a wonderful society lady that gives back for so many organizations and a mover and a shaker. Again, I mentioned she's established as an opera singer for a number of years.
Yes.
Tony, we crossed paths with her at the annual Polish Congressional
You're right.
Luncheon. She's right there
Yeah.
with the Silver Bells group. She's also with the Madam Curry group. She is very active. But the hat she'll be wearing next week on Wednesday, May the 6th, will be the hat of one of the established members of WANIS. Give me that acronym, Women's.
Association of Northwest Indiana Symphony Society.
There you go. That just rolls right off the tongue.
Right, doesn't it?
Speaking of hats, now some years they do this, some years they don't. Are we encouraging guests to wear hats this year?
Oh, yes. We having a hat contest. Well, as you see, I got my hat on. We having a great hat contest, and one person will be announced as a winner, but you can come and you can wear your nice hat, and you also can shop around. They won't have some hats there, too. So,
Yeah.
Oh,
Some of these
that's
hats, I mean,
Yes.
Phil, we've been a number of years. Some of these hats are pretty swanky. I mean, they
Right.
just try to outdo themselves each and every year, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's amazing. Some of them are wide-brimmed Kentucky Derby because that's kind of the time you're in right now with the Kentucky Derby. Some of them are vintage that'll have a story attached to them, so you have
Yes.
stuffed peacocks and feathers and plumes and plastic fruit going everywhere. Others are very, very sleek and contemporary that they just purchased for Sunday church, right?
Yes.
Looking in
Looking
your
good.
best.
Looking great.
Right.
So, yeah.
So I had somebody ask me, they came in the office the other day, they asked, do I have to wear a hat? I said, well, you don't have to wear a hat. And I said, you can just wear a simple hat. And I said, or if you have something big that you want to compete with, then, you know.
You gotta go all out.
Yeah.
Just know that Jackie Wickland will be there, and she'll
Oh,
have
yeah,
something
well,
that's
you're
really
real big.
fantastic.
Oh,
Her
yeah.
hats, I think, have their own zip code
Well,
there. So
yeah, if you look like you're going to like a British wedding, like a British royal wedding, then I think we got something.
In 2017, I won the hat contest. I had a family heirloom from my grandma, and it had the little peacocks on there, and it was a big hat.
Oh, I'll
And
have to look and see if I
I
can
might
find a
have been-
photo
You
of
the
that.
one that, yeah, you
I might have been
Phil,
the
was
judge
the
that
one
year
that
for
judged
that.
me here.
Because when I go around and when I do I have in the past, but they always switch it out, which is good. So we have some fresh judges here. Jonathan, I hope they give him that duty this year. He would
I
be
hope
a
they
great
do.
one. I don't know who's doing it.
I
but-
don't know either,
But
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 I usually ask
Jonathan
if
would
there's
be.
a little story to go with it. Not that it necessarily has to be. It can be a new hat or a modern hat, but again, and you do not have to wear a hat. You can
No,
come and
you're
just
right.
people watch and see what everybody else is wearing. I did a little of my own homework. I called the folks in catering and dining, and there is still room. I know that the RSVP really it had passed, but they will take reservations because they can always add more.
Right.
So when you're hearing this again, our broadcast is coming to you on this Tuesday, April the 28th. If you're interested in being at the 54th annual May Wine Society brunch that benefits our wonderful Northwest Indiana Symphony, that's next Wednesday, May the 6th. Plan accordingly. Come out for the afternoon. There are so many organizations that purchase a whole table. I'm guessing probably 8 seats to table, perhaps, maybe?
About 10.
10 seats per table,
Yeah,
okay.
8 or 10.
8 or
Yeah,
10.
8 or 10.
And again, or you can come single, and then they'll put you at a fun table. And trust me,
yes.
these ladies, after a couple glasses of browsing with their spring wine, they are raring to go. And there's always entertainment after the luncheon,
we got
correct?
a great entertainer, singer, Jonathan Joseph, and he have us on our feet. So we be up and we have a great dance and all.
We've
little
enjoyed him,
movement.
right, at
Yeah.
Christmas tree luncheon and other ones too, right? He's good.
He's very
He
entertaining.
is a great.
I asked him for a special request.
Yes.
So he says he's going to do
Tina
it.
Turner.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's going to sing some Tina Turner. He's
Turner.
going to sing a
Oh.
little Tina. He is.
A little
Oh,
tease.
good God. Okay. So before we're going to move on to some Tina Turner, if somebody's hearing this right now and they think, well, wait, where do I call? How do I get more information? How does that happen for the May Wine Brunch?
Well, there you can call the Performing Arts Center. You got a number?
Yep, it's 219-836-0525. Extension 206 will get you to the WANIS desk. The ladies are usually in the afternoon. So if you leave a message, they'll usually get back to you within a day or two.
And I'm going to mention, if you don't want to wear a full hat, Teresa Rademacher figured this out a few seasons ago. There's a fancy name for this, but she wears just, what is that headband with the little tiny feather
Feather
plume.
on it.
Oh,
It's got a
right,
name for what
yes.
those are
I
called,
know,
but
yeah.
it kind of gives the effect of wearing a little bit of a hat on there as well.
I have a little tiny, like Victorian top hat
like
like
that
that.
as well.
Yeah.
See, that works well. Now, speaking of being on your feet, Tina Turner as our big headliner for the Symphony.
Well,
this just doesn't sound like a symphony concert.
Well, right, and
Hooray for Maestro.
let's be very clear. Tina Turner has sadly passed.
Yes.
She passed several years ago, I believe it was
Yes.
2023.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have had people ask about that, so I feel like we should be very clear that it is not Tina Turner, but the music of Tina Turner.
Yes.
We did have some folks at the box office
Right.
say, "Oh, great! I love her. I will look forward to seeing her." And we said, "Well, it won't be her, or
Right,
it won't
it
be a
won't be
hologram.
her."
What have you lined up? No holograms
Sure,
here."
right. So it is the music of Tina Turner, and we have 3 guest singers that are coming. There's Lakeisha Jones. She was actually a finalist on American Idol back in 2007, I believe. She was the 4th place finisher, so she didn't quite make it to the last episode. She went right out, and then since then she's done Broadway. She's done like The Color Purple and stuff like that, and so she tours. So this is a production that they provide you with the music, like the sheet music, and they provide you with the singers, and then they come and perform with your orchestra. So we have Lakeisha Jones, we have another lady named Nova Payton, and then we have a gentleman named Armando Imagines, and so they're going to come and sing, a whole host of Tina Turner songs, Proud Mary, and exactly.
Should be a lot of
We're
dancing to
rolling
that
down
one,
the
yes.
river.
Right. Yeah, and there's dancing, and and so it's very upbeat, and it is, and then the band essentially is the orchestra, and so you have all of the orchestra members and instruments and all of that, and then we do have additionally, in addition to the symphony musicians, we have what's called like a rhythm section. So they basically pull the drums more to the front, and there's also like electric bass and electric guitar, and so you get some of your rock band instruments, and then there's a bigger like brass section like saxophones and stuff like that because there's a lot of brass.
But now this
instruments as
time
well.
for guests and patrons, do not go to Living Hope Auditorium.
Right, correct. Yeah. So the music of Tina Turner. It is the conclusion of our 84th season, and it is on May 22nd, which is a Friday night at 7:30 at the Hard Rock Live. And so when you have it's kind of like a rock concert, so it's the perfect venue for
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
I bet you that out in that lobby and in the gaming area, there is some Tina Turner
I would bet there
memorabilia,
is.
I'm
I should
sure.
go look and I should go over there
Yeah.
and see and
Something
take a picture.
sparkling, I bet will
I
be
would
there.
bet.
Ask if you can wear it for the show.
Yeah.
Maybe. I
You
don't
know
think
what
it
they
fit me.
should have?
She's a tiny person. I don't think it would ever fit me.
And I don't know. Tony is kind of young. Even maybe our producer Joe or even Luke, who's helping behind the scenes, may not know this, but she had this incredible career where in the '60s she'd be on the Ed Sullivan Show, and her husband's name
Ike Turner.
Ike Turner. They were kind of a dynamic duo, and she was a powerhouse right then and there. Then you didn't hear a whole lot, so much '70s. Decided to try to go solo. But boy, did she return in the 1980s in the era of MTV.
Yep.
Yes.
And one of them was What's Love Got to Do, right? She had those big barrettes in her hair, and
Right.
she showed that she could really move it
Well,
with the
here's
the
what's
youngest
funny.
ones.
Okay, I was 10 or so when she kind of came, back on the scene in the 80s. And it's funny because I remember the whole conversation at the time was like, oh, she's like this older woman. And she was like, was she 40? I don't even,
Right,
I
right.
think she was like 40 or 41. It was like, oh, she's dressing in miniskirts.
Yes.
And it's like, oh my gosh.
Right.
Now you think about that, you're like, whatever.
40's
We
nothing
did
nowadays.
think that, though. It was like,
Yeah.
God. And then other
Nice.
people had to say, she's not brand new to the music scene.
Right.
She's been around for quite some time. It probably takes 3 talented artists such as this to capture all that talent that embodies the wonderful legacy and the iconic late Tina
Absolutely.
Turner. So, but probably you're going to get her in airs, maybe, as you said, of her career.
Yeah, it's kind of a mix, and there's also other things that aren't aren't her songs. I know there's like a Lionel Richie song,
Okay.
and so it's kind of things that were contemporary to her as well. There's a Beatles medley. A medley of Beatles music that the orchestra is just going to perform, kind of as a break, I suspect, for the But so again, contemporary artists to her at the when she was active, and then I was saying there's also like a medley from the the Who's Tammie, musical Tammie, which I believe, I have to look it up. I believe she might have been in a production of that or something at some point. So it's. I mean, you do have your Tina Turner. You got your What's Love Got to Do with It, and your Goldeneye, and my favorite. We Don't Need Another Hero.
You mentioned the Who, Tony. That is your dad's favorite.
He
right?
loves the Who.
You and your
yes.
dad once did a field trip together.
We went to the United Center a few years back to see the Who.
Really?
Yeah. So this might be
And
one
they're-
Mom and Dad need to come out and
Yeah.
check out.
On one of their several final tours.
Yes. How many final tours can that one band have? Right.
Exactly. This is something also we want to let our audiences and our listeners know. Really, kind of, this is a brand new concept, but you're still going to get plenty of a dose of Maestro Kirk Muspratt as well. It's not just the headliners.
He'll be there,
right?
He'll be there, but he's going to probably be real. Like he's not
Low-key?
going to talk, or he's going to be real low key. Because again, this is we have done concerts like this before, where we're kind of more just the band.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's not every season, but I think a couple years ago we did the music of the '70s. If you remember
That's
that,
right.
we had a husband and wife duo that played acoustic guitar and sang. And I mean, before COVID, we did we had the music of Chicago. We had a Beatles one. We had an ABBA one. So I mean, this comes up every few years. One year we were hired out at Festival of Lakes to do like a to do a Led Zeppelin one. So that wasn't part of our season, but it was still one of these
And
concerts.
this even predates our wonderful maestro, who we're at 25, right? 25
Yes,
years?
this is concluding his 25th
Yeah,
anniversary
so this is
season.
a quarter of a century. I go back far enough that his predecessor, they would bring in a lot of times a headliner for Mother's Day, Shirley Jones of Partridge Family.
Well, we had
Family,
Shirley
yeah.
Jones
Jones,
with
right.
Kirk. When
Oh,
was
with Kirk
that?
also?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had Shirley Jones when Kirk was here.
Carol Lawrence and her husband that she was married to
Goulet?
Robert Goulet,
Robert Goulet.
but not Robert Goulet, but their son together.
Oh.
They were there for a Mother's Day, so you've brought in quite a few wonderful headliners too.
So
over the
so
years.
this should be fun. It should be. I mean, I was saying it looks. It'll probably feel more like a rock concert than it will feel like a symphony concert. Because then again, in that if you haven't been to the Hard Rock for the holiday pop show, I mean, it's really. I mean, it's a kind of. A little bit brings back the Star kind of feel, the feel of the Star Plaza, and like a big room with like the big screens. And we'll have the big screens, and I think we're just going to have the cameras on the singers so you can really see them. We won't have any, like I sometimes put slides and stuff up there. We're not going to have any of that. We're just going to, watch the singers.
nice.
It's
Now
going to be
this
a
time,
thing.
since it's at the Hard Rock, can people still go online and pick their seats, or no? You got to do it all through.
No,
phone?
you can still pick the seats through our ticketing system. It's nisorchestra.org is where you can do that. Tickets are $49 up to $89 depending upon where you're sitting in the hall, and you have to be 21 in order to attend.
Okay, and that's simply because of the gaming
Right,
property
yeah,
and the
it's
landscape.
it's
nothing
the
to do with
casino.
adult content.
No, there's no adult content. It's just because of the casino. You have to be 21
I
in
was
order to get
thinking
in.
about the music of Tina Turner. You mentioned Rolling Down the River. Some of those songs are very fast paced.
Oh,
Is the symphony ready to take that challenge on?
I guess we will find that out.
Okay.
Is it going to be Kirk? He's just going to be flying around.
Exactly.
You don't have some of those songs. You don't have breath in there. You gotta keep,
Right.
Should be fun.
It's going to be very, very exciting. It really is. And again, it's something that's brand new. Hard Rock is the perfect space for
It is.
this.
It is.
And again, this concludes what has been, I think, a great season. You folks have done so wonderful with all of the programming. Not just because I was part of one of them for Cinderella.
Yeah, that one
Narrating.
classical one was really
Last
good.
time we had you here, you were wearing a tiara, I think.
Right,
You
that
know,
we were,
for our
yes.
Cinderella one, and gosh, it's been so quick. That's long gone. Now we're talking about what's coming up for Mother's Day, which, by the way, the date for that is on
May 22nd. So May Wine is going to be next week, Wednesday the 6th. So that's the Wednesday before Mother's Day. So here's what you do. You get your mom and you bring her to May Wine.
There you go.
Yes.
And you say as an early Mother's Day.
Yep.
And then on Mother's Day,
get
you
your
can take her to the, well, I was going to say you can take her to the brunch at the center, but that's already sold out.
That is
but you
sold
go
out.
see your mom on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And then you bring her tickets to the Tina Turner concert on May 22nd. And then you see your mom again. See, you'll have your Mom May. That's what
Mom
you'll
May.
have.
Yes.
That's nice.
Yes.
Mom May.
Mom.
You will be at the front of the line with all those other siblings if you do this. That is that's a wonder. And again, it's an opportunity where you're creating memories that are so special. We talked about the May wine themes. Same thing. They've done a number of themes over the years. Years back, it was always at the Star Plaza big ballroom, and that's where I remember Shirley Jones mingling around with
Yep.
folks.
Shirley Jones.
And they would do themes such as, again, Kentucky Derby one year. One year, I
Yes.
think it was Indy 500. Mary Battistini wanted to do Indianapolis 500
That's
race.
fun.
So
Little race cars going around the house.
yeah, that's right.
Cute.
They've done a number of different themes, but this is something that is, again, it is so wonderfully and well attended because a lot of these kind of events don't exist as much during the day. People are busy working. Take a moment and give back because so much of this gives right back to the community. Edith Root Scholarship is one I
Hebrew
think is so much.
Scholarship, the Northwest Indiana Symphony Society. we
And
also
some of this
give.
money might also go to help with those summer concerts that are coming, which you'll be back
Yes.
to tell us about, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, summer
Yeah.
concerts are late in late July. So so we'll come back before that. We'll talk about our new season because we'll probably have our new season and we'll be able to announce it at least at the Tina Turner, and then and then we'll have a brochure for the summer concerts.
Well, and and we say those free summer concerts, we know nothing. Of course, if you were a fan of the show and you've been tuned in the last 9 years, that word free only comes with an asterisk because there are generous underwriters, supporters.
Absolutely.
Did we need
absolutely.
any to toss out for our Tina Turner that have been wonderful underwriters, or are there just too many wait and see what read the screen when you get there?
I would say read the screen when you get there because
Okay.
I'm like off the top of my head. I mean, it's always like the John W. Anderson Foundation is always like one of our big ones,
Yeah.
and they're always and the Hard Rock also for the Tina Turner. The Hard Rock is also a sponsor as well, and they're so generous with everybody. When we come in there, they have all of their people that help us
Yes.
unload
Yeah.
and set up, and all of their people that work the sound and the screens and all of that. Like they have all of those people, and they are knowledgeable and super super nice, and it is just easy to walk in the Hard Rock.
Not a bad seat in the house anywhere.
No,
at
it's. I
all.
mean, like I said, it kind of gives you old school Star Plaza vibes. It's like a bigger place, but we've got those beautiful big, clear screens. So even if you're in the back section, we'll have that up on the screen, and you'll see Lakeisha like she's right next to you.
One as we wrap up here, a fun fact: Tony Panek, one of the first concerts that ever played at the Hard Rock, was his all-time favorite. He managed to get tickets for. Who was
It was
it?
the Killers, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
The Killer. And I looked at the price, and I said, I don't like them enough.
I had to do some band dangling there.
Well, this is a great price for the Tina Turner.
Yeah.
And then just a reminder, this is a wonderful price for our luncheon because, again, a portion of that you're giving right back to our charity, to the
Yes.
Juanas. Give us that price tag and the date and all the details to my Vanna White here.
Well, our price is $55 per person. And also you have shopping. Like I said, the deadline was passed, but you still can call in. And you still, because we do have some seats available. So just
Yes.
call the number.
219-836-0525, extension 206. Get you to the Juanas desk.
And have either of you heard the menu yet? Or is it going to be a surprise? Have you heard the menu?
Oh, it's a good menu. I know it's a good menu.
It is. Every year, it's always just a wonderful,
And then we have
it's a
the-
full dinner. When we say brunch, it's not just going to be tea sandwiches and a salad. It'll be a multi-course
Right,
meal.
yeah. It's usually like
Yeah.
salad, entree, and dessert.
entree,
The soup
dessert.
Plus
and
the
then,
wine.
yeah,
And the wine.
yeah,
And the wine.
Exactly.
Raspberry cake and the
yeah.
wine with the
Yeah.
strawberry
Yes.
in there.
You will not be
Yes.
disappointed. Make sure, ladies, come back and share all the things that are happening. There's always so many things. And also, just a reminder that 113 membership that they have for Juanas can always grow and extend. So if you're hearing something that sounds interesting and you're thinking, I'd like to be a part of Juanas, you don't have to be retired. You can be somebody that is still out there working and just help out and volunteer.
Right.
They're everywhere.
Yes.
They're even at the concerts a lot of times helping
Oh,
out
yes.
with passing out
Yep.
the,
Yes.
the
Yep.
programs and things. So
Can I add one more
Yes,
thing?
please
Because
do.
that's if I don't have enough things. Our young people's competition is coming up in May, and I don't have the date in front of me. It's coming up in like 2 weeks. So if you know of any young person, kindergarten through senior year of high school, if they can perform, like sing, play an instrument, this is their chance to come audition. They're not competing against each other. They're competing against sort of how well maestro thinks they perform their instrument. So a kindergartner that's just squeaking out on a violin, if he hears something in that thinks it's wonderful, that they're off to a good start, he might choose them to win. So it's always, that's a good time, and the kids get to perform on a symphony concert. So we're always looking for more kids to sign up for that. So like I said, it's I think in 2 weeks. So
Okay.
plant that seed, everybody that's listening or our viewers. And we should at least do probably a quick nod on behalf of Brandon. a great time to come for May Wine or any time to our Center for Visual and Performing Arts
Yes.
is during this Tri-County exhibit.
Right.
So
Yeah, the Tri-County
yes.
Junior Senior
Wonderful.
Art Show. So it's I forget how many schools there are, over 20 at least.
all throughout this
Yeah, all through
region.
Lake and Porter County at least I know of, and maybe
a
Newton
couple
or
cross,
Jasper.
and I think it could even cross over. I think
Yeah.
maybe now.
So so they have the atrium in the center is got like middle school art, and then in the main gallery is like all these different high schools. I mean, it's some of this the talent you really see on these
It's
this
so
artwork.
creative.
You look at it, and go,
man.
this is an 8th grader. Like,
Yeah.
my goodness.
Great
You
artists.
take that glass of wine when you're browsing for the May Wine Brunch. Go in there and see that talent and imagination, and you'll go right through the South Shore Arts gift shop where you
Yep.
can always want to pick up something along the way. And Tony, you'll be happy to know, just a couple days ago, there were some parents that walked in that I could tell they hadn't been in our Performing Arts Center before, and they said, "We're looking for an exhibit. We're from Couts. Our kids go to Couts." So
Nice.
that's how far down it goes.
Yeah.
Couts is
There's
South
talented
County.
kids in Couts. I know that for sure.
Tony loves
Yeah.
Couts. 'cause
There's
he
talented
has-
kids.
I got a summer home
He
there.
likes to
nice.
he likes to debate if Couts is really in the region or not. So that's his big
We love
arguing
Couts.
point.
How far does the region go?
That's it. He
Oh.
loves it. Don't get us
This is a
started
big
on
debate.
that.
You don't want to start this now.
Yeah, he and Sonny Santana argued this at great lengths.
We don't have to
All
take
right,
a
to
trip.
be continued with this. Ladies, please come back anytime,
Yes,
all right, and tell us
thank
all the
you.
good things that are
Thank you.
happening. We'll raise a
Thank
glass
you,
here and toast
yes.
what it's going to be the 54th annual May Wine, benefiting our symphony and our finale.
Thank you, Tony.
And 25 years of Maestro Kirk
Tony,
Muskrat
yes,
being a
yes.
part of the wonderful Northwest Indiana Symphony Orchestra, and to you, our listeners and our viewers, thank you for being a part of our broadcast. And no matter when you're tuning in, we wish you well where your path might take you, be it morning, afternoon, or evening.
Thank you.